fans.
Amazing. I think you can tell as well when you look at the two sets of players and the management. I think you can see one set of players in Spain absolutely playing for their manager, whereas I think the French side look a little bit fractured. I thought the subs were a little bit indifferent. They didn't really work. In the end, I think France were sort of running out of options. They were waiting for a Kylian Mbappe moment, which nearly happened when he made the little dribble and blazed it over the bar. But I was just so impressed by this young Spanish side on how they kept the ball. They fed the young players. They were brilliant. The two boys in midfield, I talked about Fabian Ruiz and Rodri, who kept the game and kept the ball ticking along. Defensively, they look really sound as well. So when you look at this Spanish side, we've said it since probably match day one, they feel like the best team in the tournament to me. They play good football, they excite, they're on the front foot, and they're a cracking sight to watch.
Patrice, we discussed in the lead-up about potentially these Spanish players fearing the French team, perhaps being a little intimidated, but they showed very little of that.
They show so much experience, and we talk also about their philosophy of football. You know, when they want to dictate the game and they play directly, they try to find Yamal the most quickly possible, or William. Then after you have that key player, Rodri, controlling the tempo, because you can see even when they were winning and they were like having a good possession, they had a good possession on the other half, not in their own half. It's a complete team, I think, well deserved, and I won't be surprised if that team win the tournament because they got everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, we see games differently, don't we?
There we go.
I'm just saying, I've seen a French side there who created more chances than Spain. Yes, Spain kept the ball very well, but they didn't have what they'd had in all the other games this tournament. An average of 20 shots per game. They only managed 6 shots in this game, which meant that they were struggling to break down that French defence with all the skill that they had. I say 2 moments. The goal by Yamal, fantastic strike, and Olmo's skill to get in a position to shoot, fantastic goal. Other than that, France caused them problems. And like Patrice said, if you're waiting for that Mbappe moment, well, it happened, and Mbappe didn't deliver. On another day, of course, perhaps he delivers. And it's kind of, they've been opened up again, as they have done in other games, which has got to give encouragement to whoever plays them in the final.
We'll get to that. No problem. Of course, they've done it the hard way. They've beaten the host Germany. They've beaten the tournament favourite France. They are through to the Euro final. There you go. You can't stop them in Spain now. 9 different goal scorers at the Euros, 2 more than any other side. And that attacking depth, a big reason why we saw their winning moments there, celebrating their way through to another Euro final. Look, I'm sure we're going to discuss Yamal in depth in this post-match, but the thing that gets me, Don, we were discussing it off camera previously, but the last Euros only 3 years ago. He was 13. It's quite hard to get your head around what he's doing at such a young age.
Andy Hinchcliffe made a great point in comms when he said he's 10 years away from his prime.
Yes.
10 years away from his prime. It's incredible. I mean, there's no limits for the kid.
It's incredible. We have seen a lot of young stars emerge in recent years, but there appear to be something extra special of this player. He looks a player beyond his years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he thoroughly deserves to be there, and scoring that goal as well, so I think cemented that. It does help when you've got a team around you to facilitate the skills that you've got. And I think in this Spanish side, he has everything that he needs to support him.
You know, what I'm surprised about him is maturity of when he will have to shoot, when he will have to pass that ball in the middle. He's so mature, and normally, you know, I will never praise a young player because you need to be consistent like this for 5 years. But we're talking about a 16 years old and doing what he's doing is, and he got personality, he got character, you know, because he did that against Rabiot, and Rabiot, you know, before the game had some comment about him, and even in Spanish at the end of the game, he was like, habla, habla, so now talk, talk. I love this attitude. For some people would say maybe he's arrogant. No, he's confident. I love seeing that at that age.
Talk the talk, walk the walk. Amazing performance. And just to add to his awards of the day, today he wins our strike of the day.
Yamal. Got a bend on it! That is simply amazing! The youngest player to ever play in the semi-final of a major tournament has just delivered a goal for the ages! 16-year-old Lamine Yamal drags Spain level again!
No, guys, no.
Patrice's favourite picture.
No.
Here's that image again.
Weird.
Messi and a 1 year old, 1 month old, I don't know how he is, Lamine Yamal.
My little boy's 2. I wonder if I can get a picture with Messi. Just to touch him. Just touch him. Touch him, Leo.
Yeah, I'm still not quite sure about that. But you thought that was fake, but it's real. But in any case, that man is, following in the early footsteps of...
Well, through the academy as well. I mean, it's unreal.
Bizarre stuff. The two legends there, one in the making, one already has done his time, but amazing. Take me through technically the hits, and obviously for me the aspect of that goal that I really enjoyed was the fact that he actually beat Ronaldo for that goal as well, where all the talk was coming from.
And Magnon into the top corner as well.
Magnon,
one of the best goalkeepers around. I just think it's the whole personality when you look at the young kid. I mean, we can't even fathom to try and do this on a European stage at 16. You know, the confidence and the arrogance in a good way. Look, he twists Rabiot up, sends him to his right. As a midfield player, you fall for it. Then you can't recover. Then the keeper's scrambling away. He knows he's probably beaten as a strike gun at the top corner in off the post. But it's the package. It's like, you know, I heard comparisons today about Maradona and Messi, and it's like, calm down a little bit with the Maradona and Messi, but at the same time, don't think Maradona and Messi were doing this at 16.
Of course, yeah.
Messi wasn't in the national side at 16. Diego, maybe.
Incredibly, he's one win away now from winning a Euros. At 17, he'll be 17 in 1 day on Sunday, quite remarkably.
Thanks.
There's his numbers from the game. Yeah, he's old now. 1 goal, 2 key passes, 3 attempts. A wonder kid who shines on the biggest stage. And, well, David, is it fair to say if Spain do go on and win, this could very well be the player of the tournament?
Oh, that's a big shout. Definitely young player of the tournament.
No doubt about that.
A very young player of the tournament.
You'd have to be in the mix for the player of the tournament, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one thing that's interesting, when we go right back to the beginning of the show and talk about Bielsa, this isn't a 16-year-old who just rocks up at the door and suddenly got in the Spain team. This is a guy who's gone through a process at a very young age to be, I say in footballing terms, to be groomed into the player. Yes, he has the ability, but he hasn't made it through a system on his own way. He's been doing it through help from a very, very young age. So what we're seeing is a process here. And fortunately for Spain, we've got a process in 16-year-old, 17 tomorrow, day after, which is phenomenal, it has to be said.
He deserves like all the headline, today, but I think a player like Rodri, people, they don't understand, that player was important for the team. But I give the credit, he's young, and trust me, if I have to pick a player of the tournament, will be probably Rodri. Because he was so consistent every game. Top
players right across the board. But there's only one, Dani Olmo, who, Patrice, your favourite segment, is today's changemaker of the match.
Now, Jesus Navas, who was a winger earlier on in his career, so he's well able to deliver crosses like that. Dani Olmo! They've turned it around! From 1-0 down! Spain scored twice in 4 minutes to lead in the Euro 2024 semi-final, and France don't know what's hit them here.
Our change maker of the match there, Dani Olmo. And unfortunately for those French players, that was the goal that ultimately eliminated them from the European Championships. Their wait for a European title continues. Theo Hernandez was very solid this tournament. Didier Deschamps was aiming to become the first ever manager to win the World Cup and European Championships as a player and as a coach, but not to be, thanks to that man, Dani Olmo, who you do feel, David, has been popped up now with another very important goal, another really key contributor to the Spanish team.
Maybe player of the tournament.
Possibly player of the tournament. Very possible.
At the moment, yeah, I mean, there's got to be a throw up between him and Yamal. But I mean,
there's the good stat there as well. Most goal involvements by any player, 5 for Dani Olmo.
Yeah, I mean, I think the testament to Dani Olmo was coming on for Pedri. After, I think it was 8 minutes.
8 minutes, correct.
8 minutes. That's the time that you sit down on the bench, put your coffee to one side, start talking to your next door neighbour about, how you think the game's going to go, and all of a sudden he's called onto the pitch to play. So the professionalism and preparedness that he had for that game, to go into this game, and the guy's full of confidence, one of the older players, you would argue, in this very young squad overall, and leading by example.
plays his football in the Bundesliga as well, knows Germany very well, and he's just continued his very strong club form at this level. And I think David's right. This is a player, one of the key players of the tournament.
Definitely. We keep talking, or I keep talking about being effective on a football pitch. And there's certain players, and Leandro Trossard comes to mind. Diogo Jota comes to mind, where not aesthetically, but you don't really see them as a sort of Kylian Mbappe's and the Dembélés of this world, but they get the job done. Technically, they're very good players. They know where to be. They know where to find space. Dani Olmo's always had great skill. He's always been underrated. And now, as David said, coming off of Pedri, it's sort of been the making of him, because you can see every single game he's starting to grow in confidence.
Well, here's another photo for you, because they keep coming out. They keep coming our way. We've got.
If this involves babies and baths,
hang on. I haven't rolled it yet. Here it is. It's Messi with Dani Olmo, very young.
I'm telling you, I'm taking my boy to meet Leo. Right? Touch him.
He's doing the. He's doing the round.
Don't say that.
Olmo a little older here than Yamal in the bathtub, but in any case, it's another iconic photo here, because this once young boy is now a young man and one win away.
Messi gets around, doesn't he?
But that's what I mean. Are we sure he's not his clone, or why Messi is going around all with?
I don't know what was happening at that time, but these images of 20 or so years ago, feel Olmo was 6 or 7 years of age. He's 26 now, so 20 odd years ago, and yeah, Messi doing the rounds, but the Spanish quality has really come to the fore there.
I feel like, Adrian, tomorrow you're going to show a picture of me with Messi when I was a baby.
I've got
and even my mom never showed me that picture. It's crazy.
It's in their DNA, though, isn't it? The Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it match day one. We talked about how probably 3 or 4 or 5 years ago they bored the life out of us. You know, they had 1,000 passes in a game and drew 0-0. And it was like so predictable. It's like they took the Guardiola sort of playbook, transferred that into the national side, and it sort of didn't really work. They kept the ball, it looked sort of okay, but no real cutting edge. This coach now has got the same sort of philosophy with Rodri and Fabian Ruiz, but at the same time, he said to the likes of Yamal, and he said to Nico Williams, he said to Olmo, go and excite me, go and play. Go and play the game how it should be played. They're getting the rewards.
Carry on with Ruiz, because another top player who had a good chance to score the opener today, but this is another key contributor to this team.
Again, he knows where to be. Technically, he's very good. He adds balance. Rodri being a right-footed player, plays to the right of him. Fabian Ruiz being a lefty, knows where to be. He's got good weight to pass. When you've got this quality, and when you add that with experience, and that's why we joked about Yamal only being 16, so he's going to get better. He should actually score that. That's quite a really simple header, and he'll be kicking himself that he didn't score. But look, comfortable on the ball, not really in a panic, knows where to find a red shirt, knows when to keep it simple like Rodri, knows when to find a 15, 20-yard pass, knows when to keep a 5-yard pass. Just a very smart footballer.
No doubt. Fabian Ruiz dictating the play, calling the shots. Super important to this Spanish team, who came through a very difficult group. Many were calling it the group of death in the lead up to the tournament. They knocked out Italy, they knocked out Croatia and Albania. They came through Georgia, went through the tournament host Germany, and now have eliminated the pre-tournament favourites in France. And now they await England or Netherlands in the final. For France, well, unfortunately, it is the end of the road for Kylian Mbappe, Didier Deschamps and Les Bleus. But they did get off to a good start in this one, thanks to that goal through Kolo Muani, and that was our play of the day.
Mbappe. Neves doesn't want to pounce. It's a great ball in! Kolo Muani! France score! 8 minutes into the semi-final. A shake of the head from Luis de la Fuente. France, who've struggled for goals in this tournament, strike early here.
Play of the day, that opening French goal scored by Kolo Muani. A wonderful ball in by Mbappe, but not enough on the night. There were a handful of France chances. You mentioned on another day that potentially could have come away with the victory here, but what did you make of their attacking threat today? Obviously, well, conceded 2 goals, which they hadn't done this tournament, so they had to chase a little, but they did have a few big chances. Yeah,
I think this is a Rabiot chance here, perhaps. There's a bobble, clear bobble when he hits it. Mbappe, not that one there, the second one where he's in front of goal. We saw this in an earlier game in the group stages. Essentially, free shot on the goal, misses target. That's the man that you want to hit the target at least. That was a Rabiot chance. I think he was, Hernandez. That was unfortunate because it was a bobble. But they created more chances in Spain, and this is a point.
Not great chances, though.
Yeah, Alf, if you look at it...
That's a great chance.
Yeah, this because of Mbappe. I mean, like, they had, like, maybe more, like, shoot or whatever. But if you look at overall, like you know Spain wasn't going to lose that game. No. We were, like, praying for a miracle of Mbappe or whatsoever.
I never got the sense of any patterns of play they were going to cut Spain open. That's the worry. When you look at the quality in this French side, it was all like, can Kylian do something off the left-hand side? Can something fall for Giroud with 5 minutes to go? Can Griezmann try and conjure up some sort of magic? There was no like real patterns of play where you watch Spain and you watch Ruiz and you watch Rodri and you watch Olmo. You can sort of see it unfolding. You can see wide players taking fullbacks on. With France, it was just very sort of sporadic.
Should they have made the switch, bringing Giroud on perhaps a bit earlier?
Well, considering never had any real shots, no. As I say, you look at the build-up, and I'd be interested to see what Patrice thinks of it. When Mbappe cuts in on the right foot and he's got a free shot of goal and then blazes it over the bar, you've created the chance for the man that you want to create the chance for. Then it's up to the man to do what he's there to do.
I thought his change with about half an hour to go should have been Koulibaly off and Giroud on, because he had his two wide players. He had Dembele on the right, he had Kylian on the left. And that's when you want to try and service, if you're going to put crosses in the box. The ideal man is Giroud. And then he made a strange decision when he brought Barcola on, ironically, who'd done quite well. But then he put Kylian Mbappe through the middle as a number 9, who's suffering the effects from a broken nose. So he's not really going to put his head into anything. So you've got to try and have a look at the condition of the play. I thought his subs were just a little bit panicky. I thought they were like hopeful. I'll try and do something and hope there's a spark. There was no real thought behind it.
I mean, with the if, you know, now they lose, if they win, I don't know if we're going to talk the same way, but I think I absolutely agree with you. Something was missing, you know, even the facts, and, you know, I don't know the detail, but Giroud not having too many minutes. Griezmann was, for me, the biggest surprise to him to don't start. And you can see they come on, but they didn't come with a lot of enthusiasm or energy or whatever. Yeah, we create like few chances, but Spain was too big for us.
Do you think tonight's result puts pressure on the future of Didier Deschamps as France boss?
When you're like the French national coach, you always, the seat is always hot. Like even when you win the World Cup, before the World Cup, you know, people always criticize the style of play. They did the same with Aimé Jacquet. So in France, you know, I'm a French guy, and we always complain. You know, it's always something wrong. I mean, good luck. And Deschamps will decide, because he decides when he want to stop or keep going. That's why I don't listen what is in the press. He have a great relationship with the president of the Football French Federation. He got like two final. He win the World Cup. I mean, like, if you look, it's the Deschamps palmarès. Like, good luck to the new managers coming.
Zizou?
Yeah, I mean, like, all the French people want Zizou because how important it is for us. But yes, everyone would like Zizou. But if you not start winning the World Cup or the Euro, and that's what they expect from the French national team, Zizou will disappear.
12 years he's been in charge of Deschamps, 2 World Cup finals, 1 World Cup triumph, a Nations League triumph as well, but still yet to win that elusive European Championship. They do crash out, and some of it largely due to our turning point of the match, which is Unai Simon.
N'Golo Kante in front of Dembele. Simon just about in front of Mbappe.
It looks like the goalkeeper was anticipating the ball being pulled back, and it actually gets played at his left hand. He's expecting it to go to his right, but he reacts quickly just to get that left hand up and bat the ball away.
A perfect night for Spain. They move on to the Euro 2024 final on Sunday in Berlin. And now all there is left to do is wait to see who they will play in the final match of the summer's tournament. And of course, 2 other teams remain, Netherlands and England. That one coming up tomorrow. England, Netherlands, Spain awaiting in the final. Having seen what you've seen now, obviously full focus on tomorrow and on Netherlands from an England perspective. But how are you feeling coming in?
I think the Netherlands game will be the way it should be, the toughest game that England will have faced. They have 2 completely different styles of play to play against, potentially, and the speed and pace of the likes of Depay up top And potentially, once they're losing and haven't chased the game, the likes of Weghorst coming on and being a wrecking ball. So whichever way, if for England to be successful, they're going to get nicely warmed up for Spain.
Absolutely. Don, England goals been a little hard to come by. Netherlands have been, they've been an exciting team, have been involved in some really entertaining matches. What are you expecting from tomorrow night?
Open. I can't call it. I think it's a 50-50 game. I'm thinking, and I'm hearing that Trippier keeps his place instead of Luke Shaw. Saka on the right, who scored a great goal last time out. So, yeah, it's a difficult one to call. I think it'll be very open. I think there'll be chances. Listen, sitting on the fence, it's going to be a really hard one.
Patrice, obviously no more France in the tournament, but Spain through to the final. Who do you see? First, will you be back with us tomorrow?
I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay, well, make sure you're back.
I'm really sad now, Elise. I lose all my energy.
No, I understand.
I don't love this game anymore.
But which of the two nations that play tomorrow night do you think would pose the biggest threat to Spain in Sunday's final?
I think no one of both of them. Spain will beat England or Netherlands. I think England have to focus on tomorrow match. I think everyone expects England to win because, to be honest, Netherlands not been that consistent.
Agreed.
You know, and but the manager Coman sometimes is changing the tactic and, like they would say, bringing Bongros, and that's when you see the better quality of player, like the Memphis Depay, and Don was saying that really perfectly. He make player like playing better around him. You shouldn't judge his performance. So they can mix, they can change, but. Normally England should win, but it doesn't matter because it's gonna never come home because the paella is already. Now they eat la baguette and now they want some fish and chips in final.
Well, we'll all be back tomorrow to bring you that second semi-final, but tonight it was all about Spain. They are through to the Euro 2024 final after beating France by 2-1. Tonight, we leave you with all of the key moments from what was a thrilling first semi-final.
Thoughts about Manchester United and Everton. The erstwhile great Manchester United are still seesawing. A draw with Spurs on the 14th of January saw them win 5 straight games, albeit most of them just barely. Then came the awful loss to Fulham on the 24th of February, in which they played a lacklustre game. Then came Sunday's derby, where they lose 1-3 to the current league champions Manchester City, a game where they go a goal ahead, defend brilliantly for 50 minutes, eventually capitulating to the obviously better class of their rival. Regarding the manager Erik ten Hag, there are still many complaints from pundits left and right. The lack of clear sense of direction or style of play, lack or poor quality of man management, and constant poor recruitment of players. Since the 25% takeover of Man United by Jim Ratcliffe, it was hoped that Man United will progress to a more successful direction under his watch. Some pundits even think that Ten Hag might even be replaced come next season. Yet the stats show that he did not do too badly. He managed 61 wins in all competitions in his first 100 games, which actually is better record than either Mikel Arteta with 54 and Jurgen Klopp with 50.
Thoughts on Arsenal and Tottenham? If not for that 1-week blip where they lost to Aston Villa and bow out of the Champions League, Arsenal have been by far the most impressive team this season. They have the best defensive record. They blow teams away by huge margin of goals, which leave them with the top goal difference, worth a point at least. Even after that week of disappointment, they are now pretty much faultless. It is not their choice, however. They have to be because reigning champions Manchester City have games in hand, which if they win all the remaining games, there is nothing Arsenal can do about it. They will be crowned champions for the 4th consecutive time. But the way Arsenal played this season, it will be a shame if they did not win the Premier League.